Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that's going to help you become your best self. And today we are talking about how to become more confident, building confidence. But before we jump into that, as always, I want to invite you to come say hi to me on Instagram. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, and I would love to hear from you in the DMs. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or just to say hey and hi to me? If you prefer, you can send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. I am answering emails over there. And last but not least, if you would want to sign up for my newsletter on my website or drop a question there, both are available at sabrinajoy.com. I would love to hear from you, all of those different ways. And yeah, I'm super stoked. So all that information is in the show notes below if you want to check that out. But let's jump into today's episode, again, that is about how to become more confident. Genuinely, I used to believe confidence would just come to me someday. Just come. Just like appear. Like, like cute little like tingle, 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 like music of a fairy godmother being like, here it is. I would just, bam, have it in me because it appeared to happen this way to others. Like in my point of view, right? I like looking back, hindsight, I know that's not necessarily what it was, but that's what it felt. Other people I knew just seemed to gain confidence overnight or in a moment's notice when it was needed most and then have it for the foreseeable future, and then I envied it for years and years and years. I was just like, oh man, what is going on? Why is that not me, right? And, sadly enough, it wasn't until our daughter was like 4 or 5, so only a decade ago, because she is about to turn 14, making me like 26 in this time, that I fully realized I had to decide to have confidence. I had to decide. I had to make that decision myself, alone, on my own. Instead of waiting for it to appear like the tooth fairy was going to like leave it under my pillow. Like, oh, well, if you finally come to the point in your life where, Sabrina, I'm going to leave this for you. No, I had to decide. I had to decide for myself. And despite maybe having several people come through my life that would encourage me to be more confident and that I could do that, it's still a decision that I had to make on my own. And, even in the things I was really good at, I lacked confidence. And even during that stage of my life, when I was 26 and my daughter was 4, and my husband was like, he would have been like 25, whatever. I was really good at several things. I was good at customer service, which sounds really weird to say, but I pride myself in being a dang good customer service person. And I was really good at baking. I still am. I'm still really good at that, but I'm still really good at customer service too. But you know what I mean? Like, I was in my prime for baking because I started like doing it on the side and selling, that's the word I'm looking for, selling like cupcakes, cookies, wedding cakes, whatever it was. And I had so much confidence that someone asked me to make them a wedding cake. I had never done it before, and I attempted it. I watched videos, I read books, I did test ones, I figured it the heck out, right? So it kind of blew my mind. I'm just like, oh, but there's confidence in these things. And I was confident that I've been confident from the beginning that I'm a good mom. I've been confident. And I think that's just because, I've seen the way my mom parented, and there was some good things, a lot of bad things, and just everything that I've read and prepped for. And I just knew in my heart I was going to be a good mom. But there were so many things that I lacked confidence in. And I tell you this because I'm sure, without a shadow of a doubt, 110%, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels this way, right? I might be the only one to admit it here on the internet, totally fine, but still, right? I'm not alone. I know I'm not. It needs to be shared that it's okay if this is how you thought about confidence, if you just thought that like it was just going to come to you someday and be instilled in you and you were going to be like, wow, here I am, most confident person now. Or maybe you thought not everyone gets to have confidence. I've had some beliefs like that in the past where it's just like, wow, I'm just not that person. I don't get that. No, everyone gets everything. You just got to tap into it and decide. But maybe that's with you, right? If you didn't have it from the beginning, you weren't getting it at all. Maybe that was your belief. Totally get it. But that isn't true either, right? None of those things are true. Or maybe you used to have such strong confidence in yourself and it did seem to come naturally. Maybe you were just rocking it. It was just like, yeah, this is easy for me. I do not struggle with this. More power to you. But it felt like someone took it away, right? You had it and now you don't. Or you don't have it at the level that you used to have it, and that pains you, right? And I say this lightly, when I said like you felt like someone took it away. Now, if you're not new here, then you're like, Sabrina, I can't believe you said that like that. Yes, we're going to get into that. If you are new, then you don't know. But I say this lightly because I don't, and you can look up the research yourself. If you don't believe me, totally fine. But I don't believe we can blame others for changes in how we think, how we believe, decide to be, how we act, those things. People in our lives and like environments that we spend time in, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, 110% influence these things. They really do. But all the blame can't be laid here. Now, this is a different discussion than like saying that, you went through a specific traumatizing experience because someone actually directly like did something to you. I cannot speak on that because I can only speak on what I've been through, right? And what I've done research on. But when it comes to these beliefs and how you want to conduct yourself in an emotional, mental health type of way, we cannot lay all of the blame on these people that affected us, that we are now at a deficit of this rather than where we were. We just can't. Because it all, like, we make those decisions with this influence of these people and these environments and these experiences that happen to us, I can say that fully as even someone that was raised by, super abusive dad and, a mom that did drugs and stole things and sold drugs and did all kinds of bad things. And, I did have some dips in certain beliefs in the way that I conducted myself. But there are other things where I did not necessarily have to follow in their footsteps in any way because I made the choice not to, right? We can't just blame what has happened to us, right? And I can't decide that I'm going to hate myself forever, but I did for a little bit, hate myself forever because my dad told me that I was a piece of trash and decided to hurt me physically, right? These are the kind of things. This is the example. I have to bring this up right here because you can't just place the blame all on one person or experience. You are also in charge of yourself. It may not feel like it. It may not seem like it. It might be more difficult because of what you went through. I get it. I do. I sincerely get it. But we have to be more responsible in accepting of the choices that we make, and that will increase your emotional, mental health growth exponentially. It really will, because you'll realize, okay, I have more control here than I previously thought. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of like dip into that because it's important. And, saying this doesn't diminish the effect these things had on you that shook your confidence, if that's what happened. Like if you feel like you had an experience or someone in your life that greatly affected you, that it did shake your confidence. Yes, it is still matters and it's still important. Absolutely. And experiences like that can sometimes, be worse than not having confidence like at all from the start, from the get-go, because you know what you lost, right? And when we know what we lost, when we know what we're missing, I feel like it can hurt more than not realizing what you're missing, right? You're just like, oh, I didn't know that I could have that, as opposed to like, oh no, I had that and then it was gone for a little bit and I want it back. So I get it. That could be really terrible too. And now I want to go back on what I was saying before about how it's so true that you can have confidence in certain things and not in others, right? Like I had confidence in my ability to bake amazing like goodies and treats, and that, I could do almost any recipe that I got my hands on. And I felt super confident in that. I felt super confident in being a really good mom and making rock star choices and taking care of my child and keeping her the safest she could be, and also independent and smart and capable. And I was definitely confident in that. I was confident in being able to I've always been confident in being able to problem solve things, which I think lends itself to being really good at customer service and helping people, right? And I've always felt really confident in giving people advice, right? But there are so many other things that I'm not confident in. I lack confidence in starting this business that I want to start, which is like, coaching people and doing group coaches and, creating resources for people to, spend their hard-earned money on to help them develop their emotional health, right? I lack confidence in wearing certain outfits, which I know a lot of people can relate to, even though I've lost weight and I'm working out and I'm getting it together. But in people with my same sizes and same, body structure, rocking these cute outfits, and I'm like, I have no confidence to do that, right? I don't have the confidence sometimes to speak up and share my opinion that I know is different from other people in peer groups of people that are more, I don't know, mentally dominant than me. We'll say it that way. So there's plenty of things that I'm not confident in versus the things that I am super confident in. And today I'm speaking more on having confidence like in general in your life. But it's important to know that you can still use these tips I'm going to give you even if you only lack confidence in like certain parts of your life, like me, like I just kind of like give you an example of. And it should help boost it all because confidence plays a really big role in your desire to like pursue your goals and how you present yourself to others. And so, it's also a general sense of, believing in yourself. So more of this isn't an issue. So having more confidence is not a bad thing. So here are 7 tips on how to become more confident in your life, because don't we all want to be a little bit more confident, no matter where we're starting on that scale of confidence. Okay, so number 1, surround yourself with uplifting people. Yes, I had to start with this one to kind of get it out of the way because it is definitely a tip that I give for several different things, because it is important to have a group of people, even if it's a small group. In meaning group, I can mean like 2 people, right? Or 5, or whatever the number of people it is. Even if those groups change depending on like what you're involved in, it's so good to have uplifting people, people that are going to encourage you, or people that are just positive, or people that are in the same growth mindset that you are, or that you want to be, or that you're aspiring to be, right? So they're like not just continually being negative and down on themselves and, not just continually living in the past, like mistakes and failures that they have gone through. They are continuing to look forward and know that they can grow and change, become a better person, continue and know that there's going to be bumps on the road ahead. It's important to have these positive people, positive influences in your life. And I know that especially in the time that we're in right now, it can be hard to be with people in person. So even having those people online, so if you have some sort of community or group that you are a part of online that is positive, so super helpful. And it can also apply to social media. So if you are following people online that are not positive people, are not positive influences on where you are and what season of life you are currently in, I highly suggest that you stop following those people. And even if they're great people, but the season of life that you are in right now, like whatever they are sharing does not lend itself to where you are and you continuing to grow and become a better person, just take a break from them, right? If you find yourself even being super jealous and envious of these wonderful people that are just, really sharing positive things, you might not need to be following them right now. You might just need to I don't think you have to unfollow people. I think you can just what is that called? I think you can just like quiet them or mute them temporarily, right? If you feel like it's just really hard for you to not have those negative feelings towards them right now, where they once were inspiring and they may be inspiring again, and you just need to take a break. It's totally fine. So just remember, by surrounding yourself with more uplifting people, you will become more confident because you are feeling more positive about the things that you're going to try and you're going to go after, and like recovering from mistakes and failures and knowing that you can, and know that you can continue to get better and believe in yourself because these other people are doing that and they're also instilling that in you. Number 2, resist the urge to compare yourself to others. Resist it. Push it back. It's so tough. I know I struggle with this every single day. It's really hard. But it's important that you remember this because different seasons, different reasons. I talk about us being in different seasons from other people all the time because it is so important for you to remember it all of the time. All of the time, every moment of the day, because it'll help you not to compare yourself, because you'll realize that, the season that you're in right now is vastly different from so many other people, even if you're best friends, even if you both have 2 kids that are in the same grade and you're volunteering at the same things and you're the same age and your husbands are best buds and maybe they work at the same kind of job. It doesn't matter because you're still inherently different. You're still living in 2 different homes. You're still had 2 different upbringings. You still have different money management skills and emotional skills and abilities and bodies and habits and whatever, right? And different circumstances happened to different people, okay? No matter how similar you feel to someone else, it doesn't mean it's always going to be the same. And you can't compare yourself to those people, right? You could have everything in the world and then not be able to do this one thing or have this one thing. And that's okay because it's just not meant for you right now, or maybe not ever. That's really tough to say, but sometimes it's just not meant for you now. It's like a lot of the people that I feel for. I've never experienced this myself, but the people that are desperately trying to have children and are struggling with infertility problems. But a lot of these people, they have the money to spend on the infertility treatments, and they have the money to have the nice houses and the nice job and a great husband and, all of this other stuff, all of this wealth, all of this positiveness in their life. And everything else in their life is in line, but there's one thing they can't have. And you might feel like your life is aligning exactly with someone else's that was easily able to have a child, but then you're realizing you can't. And you're like, what? I have everything and I do everything the same. You eat the same diet, you do the same workout, but it's just not the same. So I think it's important to realize that everyone is in different seasons, even if it looks identical, even if you try to copy it. And there's also different reasons. There's different reasons why you need to go through this experience, why you need to go through this struggle, and what you're going to learn on the other side, what is going to happen after you go through that thing. It's so important to building your character and who you are and the strength that you have and how you will use that in the future to the struggles that come then. So please resist the urge to compare yourself. Yes, I'm speaking to myself as well. And it'll help you become more confident because you'll realize that you don't need to continue to, compare yourself to someone else to feel good about yourself. You'll just feel good about yourself on your own, and that will boost your confidence because you're like, I like myself and I'm happy I am me. Number 3, become more self-aware. Oh. I am dancing because self-awareness is amazing. It's amazing, understanding who you are, what you're all about, understanding your emotions, your decisions, your reactions, your responses, your reasons for why you do things. Oh my gosh. And really understanding yourself, like having more self-awareness will key you into like, what do I need to work on? And what is doing really well and what I should change and what needs to stay the same. Becoming more self-aware and understanding yourself better, of course, you will become more confident because you will understand what you need to work on those things and become more confident in it because you took the time, they did the due diligence, you put in the work, right? And so becoming more self-aware, it's so super important to becoming more confident. You will love yourself more. You will understand yourself more. It will just work out with everything else so much better because you won't constantly feel like you're conflicting and you like don't understand why you feel this way and why things are going that way and why you can't just get it together. No, you figured out why and what's triggering you and how you can overcome those things or, get through those things and become better and love yourself more. So, and believe in yourself more and pursue your goals. Okay, number 4, don't stop growing, learning, changing. Changing, it's so important to realize that you can change. It's okay. You can change. You don't have to be the same, right? Don't stay stagnant in who you are. Continue to grow, change, evolve. Show yourself you can still be confident in new things. So by continuing to grow and learn and change and adapt to new things, new systems, and take on new wonderful abilities, you will continue to be confident in yourself that you're able to evolve despite what experience comes at you, despite what struggle you have to drag yourself through and deal with, right? You're continuing to build even stronger confidence because you can look back and be like, oh, wow, look at all the stuff that I've been through. Look at how far I've come. Look at what I have done. And give yourself the credit. Feel proud about that and realize you can keep going. You don't have to stop, and you need to continue to allow yourself to change and grow and become the person that you need to be in that season of life, and then into the next, and to the next, and to the next. So don't stop growing and learning and changing. It never ends until we leave this earth and go to heaven. Number 5, accept your mistakes and failures. Talk about this all the time. Accept your mistakes and failures. Understand that mistakes and failures are the best ways to learn things, the best learning lessons. It'll allow you to crash and burn and be like, okay, what did we learn? Glean the information that you need from those experiences. Okay, how can I do this better? How can I avoid this next time? How can this not happen again, even if it does happen again? And what can it tell you for how you should conduct it or do it in the future? Right? What needs to happen? And you need to remember, this is so important. If you don't listen to anything else I just said about mistakes and failures, just remember, don't let these things, mistakes and failures, defeat you or define you. Don't let them defeat you. Don't let them stop you. Don't let them not let you try again. You can do it. You can overcome. And don't let them define you. Don't let these mistakes be like the badges that are like sewn into you and you're like, oh, I just failed on all of these things. And think about all the great world leaders. I know this is a really cliche example, but think about a lot of people in the world that started businesses that it took years for them to get recognized. It took years for them for people to care or buy their product. And now they're like bajillionaires, right? I don't know if you've heard of that Squid Game show. I haven't watched it. That's like on Netflix or whatever, but apparently the person that wrote that show, it took him like a decade for anyone to read it and want to produce it and all of that stuff. A decade. And he just kept trying. He did not give up. He pursued. He was like, okay, I think this is something. This is important. I want to like not give up on my dream. And it happened, right? And he didn't let any sort of like, even though it may not even qualify as mistakes or failures, but it was kind of failures, since he was unable to get it through other people to produce it in companies and whatever. But he kept going. He didn't let those failures define him or defeat him and hold him back. So it's important to remember to accept your mistakes and failures. It'll give you more confidence for moving forward because you are telling yourself you need to move forward, because if you're able to go through that and get through it, you're able to get through whatever else is ahead. Number 6. I'm kind of like sing-songy today. Number 6, lean into what you're confident in to show you the way. The note that I left for myself on this one is it's like breadcrumbs. It is. So an off the top of my head example would be, as I was talking about before, is I am very confident in my skills of baking. So confident, again, that if someone asked me, I remember there's a friend of mine, I don't know how many years ago, it definitely had to be in that same era, so maybe almost a decade ago, who asked me to make an ice cream cake. Had never done it before, because he had tried other treats that I'd made and was like, oh, can you make this? I want to make this so that I can like propose to my girlfriend or whatever. And I was like, yes. I can. I had never done it before. I had never even researched it before, but I was like, I can do this. I have all the confidence in the world that I can figure it out. And I did figure it out. And I did it several other times after that. It was great. And I felt really proud of myself. But, it's like things like that, being confident in the baking, like having that as a breadcrumb to be like, okay, well, I'm really confident in baking and I'd like to really be confident in like cooking. So what can I do? I can know that I'm really good at reading a recipe and understanding proportions and things like that, and like heat control and things like that, and that can give me confidence to do that. Or I've always wanted to have, well, I have it now, but I before and then at that time, I wanted to have more confidence to speak in front of groups of people without feeling super uber duper nervous, right? And I think back to the times where I was really confident in baking, but I wanted to have a group of people over at my house to teach them how to bake. But I had never done that before. But I decided that I was like, okay, well, I'm really confident in baking it myself. I think I could kind of like walk people through how to do it and make it a fun experience. And I did, and that was great. But then also doing that and having to kind of like present in front of people and talk them through and kind of like motivate them to like not give up on like making donuts or making cupcakes or like whatever we were doing, cookies, and kind of speaking to a small group. And that kind of gave me the confidence, like, okay, well, I can speak to this small group, and then even like a few bigger groups for people that would come over and just want to bake treats with me, right? And that really instilled just even a tiny bit of confidence that like, okay, I was able to do it in that, and that's still in a realm of somewhere I'm very confident in, which is baking. But it was kind of like creating breadcrumbs and kind of like, extending itself into other parts of my life and allowing me to be confident more and more outside of just this one thing that I'm super confident in. I would say that even feeling confident my whole life, and that's not being dramatic, my whole life in helping people problem solve and really giving them advice in their times of need. And knowing that people would say that I'm really good at giving advice and helping them really like continuously gave me the confidence that I was able to start this podcast and know that I can, and people would say like, oh, wow, you really break things down for me to understand easier, and gave me the confidence to be like, okay, well, I can do this at a larger scale in a podcast for people around the world and be helpful to more people, which was my goal and still is my goal. And so it's just like allowing those little things that you are super confident in to kind of like see how they can lead themselves into other parts of your life that you're not so confident in, and kind of like leave a trail of breadcrumbs of like, oh, well, yes, I was really confident here. I can kind of extend a little bit of that confidence there and then see where it takes me and let it grow and flourish and continue to become your best. Okay, number 7, the last one that I have for you today. Number 7 is live in the present. I used to really struggle with this. Even now, sometimes I do. But living in the present is really important to becoming more confident, because you don't want to worry so much about how whatever you're doing right now will affect you in the near future. Now, there's a lot of things that, it's like, okay, well, if I choose to go and major in this subject in college, it's definitely going to affect me in the future sometimes. Unless you're like me or a lot of people that like went to college and studied things, and they don't necessarily translate into what they're doing right now. Mine kind of does actually, but there's a lot of people that I know that like don't even use their degree at all whatsoever. But I would say in the near future, because you have so much time, even though it doesn't feel like it. And I will be honest, a lot of times it does not feel like it. But you have so much time for you to do trial and error and really figure things out. But it's also important to remind yourself that living in the present is really helpful and necessary, because you don't want to be super reminiscent of the past. You don't want to allow the past to dictate what you can or cannot do, or what you are capable of even doing, and what's off limits and what's not. Because even if bad things happen in the past, even if you crashed and burned and had many mistakes and failures, you can still come back from those things. You can still achieve so many things and really go after your goals and become like the best ever of who you are, and in many other categories if that's what you're seeking, if you just continue to focus on what is happening right now. Like, what is going to happen right now? Like, not what happened a year ago or even like an hour ago. You can still try again. You can still focus on like, okay, well, let's just focus on what's happening right now and then see what happens in the future. And I don't have to let the past continue to like be a dark cloud over me. And I have to continue to remind myself of that as well, because some hard things have happened in the past and I have to just like not necessarily like let it go, but not allow those things to keep me in chains, hold me prisoner, which I have allowed a lot of things to do that. And I need to not allow myself to do that anymore to myself. And I encourage you just the same. We need to live in the present. We need to enjoy the present moments of what we're trying to work on, what we're trying to achieve. And again, a lot of times we're working towards things that are going to benefit us in the future. That's totally fine. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying like, don't only do that in only a certain way because you needed to work out this specific way in the future. Like, it's going to work out, but give yourself some breathing room to just enjoy what's happening right now, what you're working on, what you want to do. And it'll help you feel more confident in trying new things and working on what you need to work on now, as opposed to being worried about not doing what you're supposed to be doing for whatever reason with like unknown expectations and things like that. Okay, so that is all the 7 tips I have for how to become more confident. This is not a conclusive list, as I say every single time. Please, I urge you, if this was not enough, you can check out Google. Google will help you. Type in how to become more confident. So many websites, so many references and articles for you to read that will really help you. But I just thought that these 7 would be the best to give you a jumping off point if you're not confident currently, or if you need to regain some confidence that you had in the past. But thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. I appreciate every single one of you listening, downloading, and sharing the show. You guys are all absolutely fantastic. Just a reminder to check the show notes below for how to get a hold of me on Instagram. I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com, or visit my website that is finally back up and running, sabrinajoy.com, where you can sign up for my soon-to-come newsletter and also drop me a line there with a message and a question or just to say hi. But thank you again. Until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.